by the time that Biden's first term is over, I want to give you a statistic. On the low end, the very low end, 10 million illegal migrants will have entered the country, and that is literally being generous on the low end. It could easily reach 20 million or more. So I wanted to put this in perspective for a second. 10 million is less than the combined population of these 11 states, not each one of them, the combined 11 states, right? So think about this. New Hampshire, Maine, Rhode Island, Montana, Delaware, South Dakota, North Dakota, Alaska, the District of Columbia, not a state, but, pretty much bigger than some of them, Vermont, Wyoming. If you combine all of those together, that would be smaller than the number of migrants that have come in illegally in this country in the 4 years on the low end of a Joe Biden administration in his first term. Unbelievable. That just gives you some scope as to what we're dealing with in terms of volume.
Right. So by the time he's out of the White House, we could have, to your point, so many people. The numbers are astonishing. I will say more than 50 House Republicans sent a letter to Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas criticizing his leadership, saying this, quote, "Your actions have willingly endangered American citizens and undermined the rule of law and our nation's sovereignty. Your failure to secure the border and enforce the law passed by Congress raises grave questions about your stability for office." End of that quote. Well, joining us now is one of the signers of that letter, Texas Congresswoman Beth Van Duyne. Congresswoman, welcome back to the show. A powerful letter you sent there to the Secretary. Have you gotten a response back yet? And what are you hoping to accomplish?
No, surprisingly, we have not gotten a response. Similar to a lot of the letters that we sent to this administration, calling them out for not doing their job and for actually doing worse than not doing their job, but for doing more harm to our country. What do we want to get, or what do we want to accomplish? This administration has been from day one dangerous for this country. They continue basically out of spite for the former administration, taking away all of the tools that have worked to be able to create our borders, to be able to protect our borders. They have taken away every tool, and Title 42 is the last tool in the tool shed. They have demonized our Customs and Border Protection agents that are down there doing their job. How many more of our National Guardsmen saving people coming over illegally are going to be killed? How many more have to lose their lives before we can get this administration to recognize that border security is important, to stop empowering and enriching drug cartel members, sex traffickers, human traffickers, and start protecting our borders? That's the point of this letter, and it has gone unanswered.
It's interesting because it's not just you and Republican members. There are Democrats that are joining you guys. Yeah. And you've got the Secretary out there of Homeland Security slamming these Democratic lawmakers that are siding with you guys, who are saying, no, we agree with them that Title 42, this public health emergency, should remain in place until there's actually a plan, which seems to me that makes common sense. Mayorkas has come out and he says, well, the assertion, this is his quote, that we do not have a plan is an assertion that is not grounded. In fact, we've been planning for months to address increases in migration. These plans have been in the works for months, and so we do not indeed have plans, and I can assure the American people and their representatives that we do indeed. All right, so if they've got the plans and they've been doing this for months, why wouldn't they just say, here they are, and here's your response to the letter, and put it all out there for everyone to see?
Well, we've seen their plan. Their plan is to basically disassemble our border. Their plan is to allow as many illegal immigrations to come over our border as possible. Their plan to recreate America is working. Their plan from day one was to do that. When Democrats tell you what their plan is, listen to them. What we have seen on their website is nothing. Psaki talked about their 6-point plan today. Their plan has done nothing. All they have done with our Border Patrol agents and our Border Protection folks down there is they've taken away every tool that they can use to be able to enforce the laws. They have demonized them. They have taken away their resources. Basically, if you talk to them, and Mayorkas has gone down there, he's faced what these agents have to tell him directly, that they don't feel like they're supported. They don't have the resources necessary. All they are right now is glorified taxi drivers and daycare workers. They're not able to do the job that needs to be done, that they signed up and are trained to do. That is on purpose. That is exactly what the Biden administration said it was going to do, and that's what we've seen. When you've got over 11,000 pounds of fentanyl coming over our borders illegally, enough to kill every single American 7 times over, At what point are we going to have our quote border czar come down, listen to what the problems are, and start addressing them? Instead, what we've seen is they're continuing to take any tools away. And Title 42 is just the latest and probably last battle. With the loss of Title 42, our borders might as well be completely open.
Congresswoman, 12 of your Republican colleagues were just at the California-Mexico border, and they were scheduled to get a tour of the border at night. But then reports say that Homeland Security officials stepped in at the last minute and stopped that visit. And then the next day, they were taken to a quieter location around San Diego. There's also reports that the detention centers they were supposed to be visiting were cleaned out right before they arrived. I mean, have you talked to any of your colleagues about these reports?
I have. This is continuing from day one. I mean, I went down there with a group last February where you saw, Senator Cruz being prevented from taking pictures. The last thing this administration wants is transparency. They do not want members of Congress. They do not want members of the media down there exposing what their policies are doing, what they're doing to our country, what they're doing to the migrants who are coming over, how severe this issue is. And when you see it on context, when you see pictures of it firsthand, it doesn't even do it justice when you're down there. But quite honestly, what is happening under this administration is they're trying to cover it all up. And the mainstream media, to your point earlier, is absolutely in agreement. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to shed light on it. They don't want to show the rest of the world, the rest of this country, what is happening down at the borders, because it is terrible for the migrants. It's terrible for the communities across the country. At this point, it doesn't matter where you live in a border community, because so many of them are coming in illegally.
Yeah, I will say, though, this trip that Leader McCarthy and others went on refocused, and at least I saw some media coverage today. So I would say that at least by getting folks down there, the media has a harder time ignoring it. So the more that we continue to do that. Anyway, Congresswoman, always great to have you. Thank you for being here.
You too.